Jacob, mate, what are we driving today?
It's a Kia Sorento.
A Kia Sorento, and not just any Kia Sorento. This is the one all you mummies and daddies have been waiting for. It's the Kia Sorento Hybrid. Today we're going to be answering two questions about this beast, which you're not allowed to look at yet. One, is it really all that special? Jacob, you're pretty special.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. And two, is it worth just under 70,000 Australian dollars? Ooh, that's a lot of dollars. So let's get straight into it. Before we get into that though, I do need to thank Driver, our channel partner. Driver is the absolute best place to finance your next car, whether it's new or used. There you can get pre-approved for a loan in under 60 seconds. You can compare a bunch of different quotes with no hidden fees and no impact to your credit score, even when you get your quote. So click the link in the description or the comment section and get your best quote now. Thanks again to Driver. It's so cold. I was trying to be consistent. I can't. We're putting on the puffer. Ugh. Okay, so how can you tell that this is a hybrid from the outside? Well, you can't, except for one place, which we will get to. But that's not a bad thing, because I really like the design of the Sorento. You've got these really cool LED lights here. You've also got your daytime running lights here, and they also act as your turning signals. Nice big tiger nose grille, classic Kia. Speaking of, look, Kia badge there, it's the new one. Otherwise, that's it. I mean, it's pretty handsome. I really like the way that this thing looks, but let's come to the side. Okay, so how is the side? Well, first of all, this is the GT line, which is top spec. We only get the hybrid as the GT line, at least here in Australia. And you don't actually get the GT line wheels, technically. These are 19-inch wheels. They've got an okay design to them, but a lot of fat rubber to them, which is kind of important because this thing is heavier than a standard Sorento because of the battery in the back. And so you kind of want as much rubber as you can to help soften the ride. And as you'll see, this thing rides really damn well. You got chrome absolutely everywhere. Look here and here on the windows, even the door handles have it, but you've also got keyless entry and go, of course. I like this like two-tone design. Down the side, you've got some more chrome, which is pretty sick. Oh, and look at this, privacy glass, and it wouldn't be an SUV without some meaty roof rails, would it? Oh, and that. I don't know, I think they call it the hockey stick, Jacob, but what did you say, shark fin?
Yeah, that's cooler.
Yeah, it's cooler. And it looks more like a shark fin than a hockey stick.
A bit cranky because it's cold, aren't you?
This is gonna be the fastest review ever because it's so cold. So we have some pretty cool lights here. I love that design there. And it's also the turning signal indicators too. 7-year warranty, that's pretty cool, especially for a car that you want to keep for a long time. I like that a lot. You've got a roof spoiler there. You've got your Kia badge, again, all new. Sorento, and I've just gone the opposite way to the B-roll. Let's do that again. Sorento, yes, it matches the B-roll. And this is the only way from the outside that you can tell that this thing is a hybrid. It just says it there. But you won't see it unless you're like up close to it because it's tiny, so haha. And then down the bottom you get a black, scratchy plastic bumper. Let's talk about the inside. Moving on to the interior. What's the interior space like? It's actually really nice. So soft touch materials, absolutely everywhere. You got some really nice. You got some really nice design, mate, including some, you know, knurled metal plastic over there, but it's a pretty cool look. You got LEDs running throughout the interior, so you can have a bit of a LED party in here if that is what you wish. But it's just a really neat and tidy design. In fact, it looks pretty modern. Jacob, first thoughts?
Pretty nice.
Pretty nice. Yeah, pretty nice. In terms of practicality and storage, because this is an SUV, look, we're using Jacob's dream catcher water bottle.
Obligatory.
Love it. So, cup holders there, and they work pretty well. You got some pretty massive door bins. I lied. They don't fit Jacob's dream catcher water bottle in there. Unbelievable. Glove box. Is that a glove box? That is a glove box. It's a pretty good size there too. And then, most surprising to me has been this center armrest. So you got a little storage area here. And then you can also fit a Dreamcatcher water bottle in there. Before we get into the tech in here, which is pretty amazing, I want to talk about what I don't like. One, in some places it feels pretty cheap. Like down here, ooh, scratchy plastics. Here, scratchy plastics. Yeah, look, it's still a non-luxury car. It's kind of in that pseudo-luxury area. So, you know, it's good, but it's not amazing. The other thing I hate, absolutely hate, is the amount of gloss black in here that just leaves smudges everywhere. You got it on the steering wheel, you got it in this center thing that you press all the time. Does my head in. Jacob, do you like it?
I hate it.
No. Didn't even let me finish what I was saying. There you go. Jacob hates it too. But let's not focus on the negatives. bro, let's talk about the positives, which is, for example, you get, 3 USB ports up front and a wireless charging area there. And then the tech is probably my favorite part because you've just got 2 massive digital displays in front of you. So the infotainment display is really, really easy to use. You've got your hybrid screen there, which you can see a bunch of information on it. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's super responsive. I think it looks great. It works very well. One of my favorite in the business. And then up ahead of you, you got your digital instrument cluster where you can see a bunch of different information in the center. And you can also see different cool graphics when you change between your driving modes. So I guess that's pretty cool. You've got other things too, like the air conditioning controls that just work really well. And they've got some EV specific things like driver only aircon if you want to save a bit of that air conditioning fuel usage. Steering wheel is a beautiful leather. Really like to hold on to it. Hate the glossy black plastic because again, it just smudges. We've been wiping everything down today multiple times with this bad boy. So if you're gonna buy one of these, ask your dealer to throw in one of those, although they're not going to, they're so cheap. The switchgear on it is pretty nice and it's all easy to move through different menus and you've got all your autonomous driving stuff on the right-hand side. And by the way, this thing can essentially drive itself, lane keep assist, lane centering assist, autonomous emergency braking. You're not gonna find a much safer car, especially at this price point. Also, being the GT line, of course, this thing is fully loaded with your Bose sound system, which does sound pretty good, but you also get some of the nicest Napa leather diamond quilted seats in the business. It's pretty surprising. They're adjustable in so many ways. I absolutely love them. Oh, and also this, a giant panoramic sunroof. Jacob and I have been having an argument, bit of a tiff, over whether it's a sunroof or a moonroof.
I think it's a moonroof.
I think, for all intents and purposes, we're going to keep calling it a bloody sunroof, okay?
Where's the sun?
That's a philosophical question if I've ever heard one.
It was actually a Beatles song.
Let's talk. Ugh, I don't get it. You're too old. You're old before your time, mate.
Actually, that was Here Comes the Sun.
You're an idiot. Let's talk about the back seats. Okay, so what's the back seats like in the Sorento? Well, I'm 5'10" or 5'11", as I tell everybody else in the world. And I'm sitting in my normal seating position here. I sit quite far back from the pedals, but I still have heaps of legroom, heaps of toe room, and a good amount of headroom considering that there is a giant panoramic sunroof above my head. Sunroof, not moonroof. I love these seats. Again, I could just rub them all day. They are the Napa leathers and they've got the diamond quilted stitching on them. Actually, they're technically hexagons, but we'll call them diamond. Here, you've got a nice armrest, very leathery with a couple of cup holders there. You do have air vents back here, and down here you've got a 12-volt socket and a USB-A port, but then you've got another 2 USB-A ports in the seat. You've got, look, you've got a smaller map pocket and a bigger map pocket. You've got a big water bottle holder for your dream catcher water bottle. Also, the outboard seats are heated, and you've got this, look, sunshade for your baby. So your baby doesn't get their tan on. Everyone, I'm quite stressed because I've got a puppy at home now. His name's Willy. We're gonna introduce him to the channel. No, not after a phallus, but after the name Willy Wonka or something like that. He goes by Willy, William, Wilbur, Sir Willy, Big Willy. Maybe he is named after a phallic object. Let's talk about the third row. By the way, something I forgot to mention is that these seats, they slide and they recline like an amazing amount. So very impressed, but let's put it there, which is a pretty normal position to be in. Then we're going to press this button here. They kind of electronically fold forward and slide. Then it's a little bit of a faff, especially when you're just a giant baby like me, to get in the back. But once we do, we can see it's actually okay. And then we close this and it becomes less okay. But that is doable. I wouldn't want to go all around Australia in one of these bad boys, but you do get a cup holder here. You've got a storage area there, a USB-A port, a little air vent. And on this side, you can actually control how much air comes out of these vents, which is more than the second row. So being the GT line, you do get a powered tailgate. Ooh, how special is that? And with all 3 rows up, you can see you actually get a pretty decent amount of storage space back there. You've also got a tiny bit of underfloor storage because you do get a full-size spare wheel, but this is also where the battery kind of lives. Then we can put down these seats here. We just pull this levers. They fall down pretty damn easily, and then you get a huge amount of space back there. And then even better, if you just want to put down these back seats and want to get a flat loading floor, you press these buttons here. You can do it at the same time even if you like. And look at that. Look how much space you get. It is enormous. Okay, so specs. What does this thing have under the bonnet and what makes it so special? Well, Of course, this is the hybrid. I've reviewed the plug-in hybrid before, so if you want to check that out, do so after this video. I think this thing is so funny because it's just so small. This is the 1.6 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine. It is tiny. It takes up maybe a third of the entire space up front. And so you've got this other EV stuff over here, and then the battery lives underneath the back seats and boot floor. But I just think that's such a funny little setup. But it does put out a decent amount of power, 169 kilowatt of power in total, but from both the engine and the EV motor, and then 350 Newton meters of torque. So not unsubstantial, but considering that this car is quite heavy, yeah, it's not the fastest car in the world, but it does have some pretty good fuel economy, which we're about to ruin, Jacob, because we're gonna launch it. All right, friend, we're gonna launch the Kia Sorento Hybrid, okay?
All-wheel drive.
What do you think it's gonna do?
Ooh. I'm gonna guess 9.9 seconds.
It's a good guess. I'm going to guess 8.7 seconds. Fist me. Fist me.
Ooh.
Felt a little bit quicker.
Ooh.
Oh!
What?
So 108.76 seconds. Was that completely right?
Yeah.
Let's start this review by putting this car into off-road mode, because this is an off-roader, friend. And if it's not an SUV with off-road modes, I don't know what it is. All right, we're about to do some extreme off-roading, friend.
All right, let's go. Ooh, look at that low gear.
Wait. Hill descent control.
Very controlled. Nice. That feels very controlled. Oh, it beeps. Okay. A little bit of traction loss.
So what we've just proven there, friend, is that yes, you can go extreme off-roading in your Kia Sorento.
Nice. We did prove that.
Oh, well, let's put the car back into eco mode, because it's got its normal driving modes. Its standard one is eco, which makes sense. It's a hybrid. And then it's also got sport and it's got smart.
So what's the difference between eco and smart, friend?
What's the difference between eco and smart? I'm glad you've asked. It will turn the car into either eco or sport, depending on your driving style.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
If that's not intelligent, if that's not super intelligence, I don't know what is. We are on saucy gravel road though, and it's pretty comfortable.
Very comfortable, actually.
For a fat, big SUV with a battery in it, this thing weighs, north of 2 tons.
Whopping. Ow.
And then I have to go and ruin it all. Let's put the car into sport mode. Maximum attack from the battery and motor. You ready?
I'm ready.
$100. Yeah, look.
I mean, I feel like the Subaru Outback that we did last week
Felt faster?
felt faster.
It did, but it didn't get as good fuel economy, did it?
No.
Before we get into what this thing has, friend, let's give it some sauce.
Ooh,
Look,
that was quite nice.
it's surprisingly little body roll.
Yeah.
Handles really well, like any good Kia should. You know what's really good about this car, friend?
What?
Is that when your foot's off the accelerator or just a little bit on the accelerator, it goes into EV mode only, and it shuts off the engine, and it's nice and quiet.
That is nice and quiet.
This thing also has a 6-speed automatic transmission, torque converter, of course. Come on, matey.
Pretty quick shifting. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Ooh.
surprisingly decent.
You can feel it's a bit torquey, up the hill. It keeps pulling.
You can feel that electric motor kick in.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you're not being an idiot, you're just driving around in eco mode, it's just sedate. There's not much to talk about. You don't really notice anything going on, which is a good thing. It just drives. Yeah. Actually, friend, before we get into Saucy Corner, we'll put it back into sport mode. I don't love the engine,
Okay.
the 1.6 litre, because it's noisy, man.
Yeah, it is.
And when you compare it to the stuff you get in the Toyotas, they're a lot more quiet, and I would say it feels more refined driving one of them around, like quite substantially so. It just doesn't feel seamless in the Toyotas, like compared to the Toyotas.
Yeah. It feels like it's trying really hard and you're not going that fast.
Yeah. To be fair, by design, this thing does have great fuel economy. I mean, I've been driving it like an idiot, but 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres in mostly outback roads. It's actually pretty good. Again, I would see better in Toyota. In fact, the Lexus NX350h we just did.
That did better.
You should definitely go watch that review. It was better.
That was
And
a
it
great
was,
car.
and it was all-wheel drive too. It was a great car. But at the same time, it's also, you know,
a lot more expensive.
almost 30 grand more
Yeah.
expensive. But you know what isn't 30 grand more expensive? Which
My
makes
life?
no sense. Saucy corner. Ah!
I'm gonna grab my spring-loaded handlebar.
Oh yeah, that's what you need. All right, this is gonna be scary.
Punch it.
That's actually surprisingly good.
Ooh.
Oh, all of our camera gear's gone flying.
Wow. Not bad.
That was not bad.
Better than the Land Cruiser.
There wasn't even like understeer,
Nah, nothing.
maybe a little bit. Obviously no oversteer. This thing is all-wheel drive.
Very impressed.
You can get this thing as a two-wheel drive.
It's only, what, $3,000 cheaper?
It's $3,000 cheaper. You might as well go for the all-wheel
Yeah.
drive and get something that's more stable on the road, essentially.
Especially in Melbourne with all the rainy weather we're having lately.
Oh, it's cold, man. All right, final thoughts?
I think it's pretty nice. It's not going to knock your socks off, though.
I wasn't asking for your final thoughts. I was saying let's go into the final thoughts. So, what are my final thoughts on the new Kia Sorento Hybrid? Well, Sorento's been out for a while now. It's always been a very good value car. This does kind of make that equation, I don't know, not that amazing. Like the hybrid is pretty good, but considering that the fuel economy I'm getting is about 7.4 litres per 100 kilometres, doing admittedly a lot of country kilometres, you might as well just get the diesel, in my opinion. But if you're driving around town pretty much all the time and you want to save a bit of petrol and you're okay to spend the extra money, so again, not sure how the equation works out there, but it's pretty special. I like it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy the video, please do like it. Comment down below what you think of the Kia Sorento Hybrid. Which engine would you get? There's like 4 different variants now. Subscribe if you're new. I'd love to have you around. Release one of these videos every single week. And as always, I'll see you next week.